Welcome back. It was an up day for the dollar and the markets, but the economic crisis has sent stocks recently on a roller coaster ride and has caused housing prices to dip. And if you are among the thousands of Canadians set to retire soon, it all adds up to fewer dollars to see you through your golden years. So what, if anything, should you do now? With me now is David Trahair, a chartered accountant and the author of Smoke and Mirrors, Financial Myths That Will Ruin Your Retirement Dreams. He joins me tonight from Toronto. Thanks for your time. So let's start with some good old-fashioned advice. What do you do if you are close to retirement?
That's a very good question. And I'd like to say that everybody's situation is different. It's very difficult to generalize and say the answer is. So I would say that it really depends on how many years you've got until you need to draw that money out. I think while the stock market has declined significantly, generally everybody agrees that eventually it will come back. Now the big question is, how long will that take? It may be a couple of years, it may be 5 years, it may be longer. So an individual that has, say, 8 or 10 years to go might be fine just leaving it where it is and waiting for the rebound. However, somebody who has a year or two to go and it may not come back might be forced to sell and realize what are unrealized losses at this point.
Now, is there an opportunity for young people right now to build on their retirement funds? Should they take advantage of this time to get in?
It could be. I mean, I think the key point to get across is to not risk everything. I think, in my opinion, even young people shouldn't risk everything. I think the other issue is that there are many demands on young people's money. For instance, if you're saving for a house and you risk everything in the stock market and you lose 40% of it and you can no longer buy a house as a result, that's a big problem, so even for younger people. Having said that, they do have a much longer period to recover from a downturn, unlike people that are close to retirement. So I would say the bottom line is, yes, the equity markets definitely make sense for younger people, but just be reasonable. Don't put all your eggs in the one basket.
Speaking of houses, if you can afford to, should you buy one right now or should you wait a little bit?
These are tough questions, Marcia.
People want to know.
The answer is buying a house now is much better than it would have been in June of this year, similar to the stock market. And I think that is a positive thing for people who are just looking at getting into the stock market or even upsizing their house, even though the house they're in has declined in value. Relatively speaking, the more expensive houses have declined a lot more in terms of dollars. So it is an opportunity to get into the housing market and possibly upsize if that makes sense in your situation.
All right. I wish we had more time. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us and giving us some advice. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Marcia.
Good night.
Night.